I switched that real quick.
Yeah.
What's really going on, man? Welcome to another Overreaction Live. I am the governor of college football, also known as Lever KT, and with me today is Nino Brown, who's the mayor of college football. Nino, what's happening?
I'm excited for another slate. A couple games we had last night were good. I covered 2 out of 3. I'll take it. But
Yeah,
we got some big games this week.
that
This
was
this this Friday night's bigger.
that was the same for me because I did a bet and Jackson State. I was feeling real good because everybody was covering. I fell asleep and I woke up. I was like, well,
Yeah.
hopefully, they covered the 6.5, but it would have been a little light 60. But it would have certainly came in the clutch. Well, let's talk about this game we have on hand tonight. We have a good one, Pac-12 showdown with two great teams in a conference that is loaded. The Utah, I'm trying to tell you, the Utah Utes head to Corvallis, Oregon, to take on the Beavers of Oregon State in this much anticipated matchup. Utah Utes are 4-0 on the season, and we haven't seen the best variation of this team yet because Cam Rising hasn't played, tight end Brant Keithy hasn't played, who's been sidelined for a third of the season. Still debatable whether they're playing or not. I believe Nino has an update for us. Nino, what have you seen from the team so far this season?
Well, as far as the Cam Rising situation, I just did a little research before we went on, and it seems as though he's probably not going to play unless the doctors clear him between now and game time. He has not been cleared by the doctor. Whittingham says that every day, every week, he's practicing as if he's good to go. But until the doctor says you're good, then they're not playing him. As far as Kuti, I don't want to be that guy, but I guess I'm gonna have to be that guy. I
You
just
gotta be
feel
the
he's
guy.
waiting until his guy's back,
Mhm.
right? Like I don't know. I know he had was it a back injury that he had? I'm not really sure. I know Kincaid had a back injury last year. I'm
I don't
not.
remember the injury. I know Cam Rising was the ACL in the Rose
Yes,
Bowl. I do know
yeah.
that. I don't remember what Keithy's was, though.
I forget, but I know it's kind of been dragged out. But as far as Cam Rising, it has to do with clearance from the doctor. So the school's doing right by him, but the sooner the better. As far as this team, they're winning. They're 4-0, 1-0 in the conference. It's just they seem like a shadow of themselves, right? Without the big guns, but they're finding a way to win. Nate Johnson is kind of taking over. He's that dual threat QB for Bryson Bonds, who started out the season, who I called week 1 was going to be the guy to get them over the hump, and he was. But Nate Johnson's been the guy. He's been using his legs a lot. 47 attempts, 150 yards, 3 touchdowns. Passing wise, they're kind of up in the air. I mean, he's got almost 400 yards passing, only 2 touchdowns, and he's at 63% completion. So we'll take it. But we know what it is. It's the guy who's been as good as advertised, Jaquindon Jackson. I mean, he had one off game, but for the rest of the other 3 games, he's been on 39 attempts, 240 yards. He's averaging 6 yards per carry. Uh, I'm going to throw this out there as a hot take because I ain't hearing it right now. It's not really a hot take, but it's something I want to bring to the forefront. Kyle Whittingham's got to be in consideration for Coach of the Year right now, right? Like, he's got to be. We're a team without their big guns. They're ranked 10th in the country, right?
And
They
they
only
haven't
allow
played a weak schedule at all.
no, and that defense is only allowing 9.5 points per game, which is 6th in all of college football, with a room of wide receivers that are very, very young. And Money Parks, Mikey Matthews, and the transfer over from Florida State, Michael Pittman, who just got off injury, so he's starting working slowly.
All right, Nino, rapid fire. I know we don't got this on the dock, but we're going to do some rapid fires. When Utah heads to the Big 12 next season, they will automatically be the best team in the Big 12.
No.
Ooh, I got to hear this.
I got to see what the roster looks like next year. You know what I mean? Is Cam Rising going to take the injury year and come back a year? Is he going to say, I'm going to take my chance? This is a young team. You got guys, Cole Bishop will be gone next year. Jawan Ellis will be gone next year. I mean, yes, they have pieces. The young room. Top 3? Yes. The top team? No. I think they might have the top coach.
For sure. I'm going with Kyle Whittingham as the top coach when they head into the Big 12.
But I just you know how it is when you're coming into a new area, and then the lineup it's gonna consist of what you're putting out there on the field. You know what I mean? Is Nate Johnson if Nate Johnson's the guy, is he gonna take that step that we've all trying to see from the guys in their second, third year? Like, is he gonna take that jump, or is Cam going to take the waiver if he doesn't play most of the year and come back? We'll have to see.
I like that. I got one more rapid fire question for you. DJU is a what round pick?
Fourth.
Ooh.
Fourth. End of the fourth.
I like that.
Top of the fifth. What his athleticism brings, the arm strength. I mean, right now people probably saying I'm crazy because the last 2 games he hasn't looked that good, and I'll talk about that a little bit later. But he started out okay. You got to remember, he's still kind of working out the kinks. It's a new squad, totally different styles, scheme that they run, right? But he's doing okay. He's right around, I think it's like 59% completion rate, right? So it's not great, but it's not gross. You get themselves to 65s, high 60s. We're talking, okay, DJU. But we know what he's got, and we know what he can bring to the table. If he can finish out this year strong, I know it's a loaded quarterback room. Okay, I get it. I understand that. But we're watching the NFL. There's a lot of teams that are going to need some QBs, whether it's depth or not. Because look at Cleveland right now. Mr. Guaranteed Money probably ain't going to play because he can't even throw the ball. So look, DTR is probably going to get his first start of the year in Week 4 of the NFL. So yes, you need a solid backup on your squad, and I think DJU can be that. I think DJU could have a long career as a backup in the NFL. To be totally honest with you,
I think people have to understand a couple of things. Number one, they have to understand that Nino has been covering the draft since like 3 days after the 2024 NFL draft. You have to understand that. Second thing you need to understand is that the landscape of what a quarterback is has changed so much. How well do you test? Your RAS score matters. How well do you look in the postseason? Like, we seen in college that C.J. Stroud, for the better part of a couple of seasons, looked like the best passer in all of college football. He still wasn't the first quarterback taken, and for what I heard, he might not even have been the second quarterback taken if a few things that went another way. Just keep that in mind when we're making predictions about players. So, Oregon State is coming off a heartbreaking loss in Pullman, Washington versus the Cougars, 38-35. It was a damn good game. I hope you guys were able to catch that last week. Oregon State still has a very bright future and a damn good team. I stand on that. That's a hill I'm willing to die on. Nino, what have you seen from this team so far?
Well, before I even tell you what I've seen from this team so far, I just don't understand how people can say, "Whoa, Washington State," and all that. Like, and then don't give Oregon State any credit. 38-35. 38-35, right? They're in the game the whole time. They're playing well. This was a battle. This wasn't like, Cam just ran away with it. He was the team. Yes, I agree. But, like, Oregon State was still there. And this wasn't a very good game by DJU, and they were still there because they have a solid unit. Now, when DJU comes to that forefront of being better than just average, watch out. And like I said, he's kind of working out the kinks. But that offensive line, that offensive line is legit. Top 5 offensive line in the country. DJU's got time for days, and they make holes that you can drive a tractor trailer through for these running backs. They have physical in the run game behind Damon Martinez, who's got close to 60 attempts, 400 yards. He only has 1 touchdown in a year. Like, the run game hasn't put up many touchdowns. You're going to say, well, Fenwick's got 4. Yeah, he got 3 last week. So outside of last week, he would have 1. So they're not punching in the red zone in the run game. That's usually DJU because he's got 100 yards on the year with 5 touchdowns. But Fenwick's got, 250 yards on 40 carries and 4 touchdowns. Like I said, DJU's kind of faded after the hot start in the first 2 games, but he's still in command of the offense. So you could see him out there, in his cadence and the way he's handling himself, reads and everything. He's still doing his thing. So don't get it twisted that he's just totally gone, right? He just had 1 real bad game, and then he had an okay game last. He's got 800 yards in the season, 8 yards per attempt, 7 touchdowns, 3 picks. But I did say he's got that 100 yards rushing and 5 touchdowns. But the Beavers are allowing less than 20 points per game on the defensive side, which is 30th in the country. I'll take that all day long, right? And then ranked in the top. Are they in the top 25? Yeah, they are, right? 19?
Yeah, they're 19. Yeah, they didn't fall out. Mm-hmm.
And so head coach Jonathan Smith has got the Beavers rocking and rolling. And I'm liking where they're going. I think this is going to be a big litmus test for them.
I would have to agree. Shout out to Fallen. Fallen's always in these live streams. We truly appreciate you. He got a little bit of satire there. He said Utah by 2 and 9 overtimes.
Ooh,
That is spicy. And if that hit, college football just go ahead and give you a meal for that.
right?
Talk to me about the players to watch both offensively and defensively. I know we talked about quite a few so far, but tell me who the players to watch are.
I mean, obviously I mentioned Cole Bishop. The guy plays all over the field. He's got 19 tackles, 2 sacks, 2 pass breakups, a pick, forced fumble. I mean, he can do it all. And I think he's a top 5 safety in the class. And we're going to see that as the season goes on. You're going to see more of him, and it's going to come to the forefront. You want to talk rad scores? His is probably going to be through the roof.
Yeah.
Another guy on the defensive side. There's 2 guys that like Jonah Ellis got 5.5 sacks. So coming off the end, he's going to be a dude. And then the linebacker, Landon Burton, he's got 19 tackles, a forced fumble, and a PBU. So watch out for him. I know Kuti, probably 50-50. That's what they've been saying for the last 2 weeks.
Right.
I'm going to tell you he's not playing, okay? But Landon King is a guy, super athletic. He came over in the transfer portal from Auburn. He's only got 1 catch on the year. It was a big catch for him last week for a first down. So I think they're going to start working this kid in more until Kuti's actually good to go, whenever that may be. But his athleticism, I think, is going to keep him on the field. Now, on the other side of the ball for the Beavers, I talked about it last year, and it seems when I talk about crazy fast wide receivers that are twitchy, they seem to hit right after I talk about it.
That's a fact.
So I talked about Square White. What happened? Boom, he went off. I talked about this gentleman, Silas Bolden, last year, and within 2 weeks of me putting him out there on the Twitter, he started going off. He's already got 18 receptions for 235 yards, a touchdown. He's got 100 yards after the catch, and he's averaging 13 yards per catch. So Silas Bolden, if DJU is going to be chucking the rock around, he's going to be the guy he's going to be targeting. On the back end, Keely Arnold, DB, 21 tackles, a tackle for loss, a half sack, 4 pass breakups, and a pick. He's going to be on whatever wide receiver or tight end that Nate Johnson's trying to target. And then they got, Easton Mascarenas, 33 tackles already in 4 games is kind of retarded. He's got tackle for loss and an interception. So those are the gentlemen that you look for on both sides of the ball.
So, what are your keys to victory for Utah to win this game?
I say the keys to victory for Utah is what probably everybody's going to think, Chalk. Run the ball, right? Just wear the clock down. But for some reason, my gut, I feel they're going to come out in that first set of scripted plays. They're going to try chucking the rock around.
And we've seen them do that this season.
Yes, they did in the first game of the year, right? First play was a 65-yard bomb touchdown. I have a feeling that they're going to – I have a feeling that Whittingham's got like 2 drives worth of scripted plays, and then we're going to go back to Quinton Jackson, pound the ball, right? Nate, pound the ball. Set up a play action, keep the drives going, long drives. But the thing is they're both good stout defenses, right? So you could see these long drives of 3.5 yards, 4 yards per carry or per play. First down. Start it all up again. You know what I mean? Because they both can have that style of play. But I think Utah's going to try to come out and put Oregon on their toes and put Oregon in a hole. Oregon, put the Beavers in a hole early and see if they can come out of it.
I like that play on words right there. So what I've seen from Utah this year is just a really good sound team, offensively and defensively. A team that just doesn't make a lot of mistakes. No. We're talking about a team with a success rate defensively of 28%. Now, on the other side, Oregon State success rate offensively is pretty damn good at 52. Both teams are really good at down and distances. Something must give. But with Oregon State having that home field advantage, you would think it's on them. But talk to me a little bit more about the keys of victory for Oregon State.
You're home, right? So you're going to need some crowd play. You're going to want that to be a huge part of it. You're going to want to kind of keep Nate Johnson off of being able to get plays changed at the line of scrimmage, make calls, have his cadence be kind of like difficult for them to understand what's going on. You're going to need that. You're going to need to get them off their game because like I said, I truly believe Utah's coming out on the road. They're going to try to do something odd early. How do the Beavers respond to it, right? Now, if they get the ball first, we know what they're going to do. They're going to give it to the muscle behind, just pound, play physical, wear these guys down, and then let DJU and these speedy receivers. I call them the 5'8" bunch. Both of these guys are 5'8", but they go off. They got speed. They got hands. They both can catch the rock all over the field. And if they get behind you, you might as well just stop chasing them because you're not catching them. So I truly believe they're going to be physical. And like I said, like that offensive line forms a moat around Castle DJU and doesn't let anybody come across. I think it's one sack allowed on the year, something stupid
Yeah.
like that, maybe two, but I'm pretty sure it's one total on the year. So I mean, these guys are a brick wall up front. So if they can get the ball running, solidify themselves, set up some play action, get comfortable with who they are or off the ripper. Now, this could be a long night for Utah. Don't get me wrong. I know everybody's thinking Utah because they're the higher ranked team. But if the Beavers at home, it's a different
It is.
atmosphere. And do not be surprised if you don't see the freshman Aiden Childs come in for some kind of trickery somewhere along the line because the kid's got juice.
It's interesting to me, and I think Oregon State offensive coordinator Brian Lindgren is going to have to be creative, because if Utah can predict the typical what we expect from Oregon State, run left, run right, set up the play action, but if they can get some tunnel screens, quick screens, something to where they can get explosive plays, so the safeties aren't down in the box and it's just very predictable play.
Put them in the box, though. Put them in the box and then get Bolden on a quick boop. You know what I mean? 2 yards shot, and then he's gone, because that's why I mentioned the 100 yards after the catch.
Right.
When half yards after the catch, there's a reason, I brought him up for that point.
So I think if they could somehow, some way invert what they typically like to do, pass to set up the run, they should be able to kind of break through this Utah team. All right, let's talk about the spread, Nino, and then give me your prediction. FanDuel has Oregon State as a 3.5 favorite. Our friends out west know something. That's why you guys shouldn't be surprised by what Nino was saying. Hey, Oregon State can win this game. It's a damn good football team. Over-under, which was interesting, was 55.5, because we seen an over-under of 36 that was easily eclipsed yesterday in that same Houston State and Jacksonville State game. Who will win this game and why?
Oregon State's going to win the game, but Utah's going to cover. You see what I'm saying there?
Yeah.
Oregon State wins by 3.
Okay.
But it's going over.
Okay.
For the simple fact that both of these teams can take the ball and run it for 90 yards in a tutty in a blink of an eyeball, right? Jackson can do it. Martinez and Fenwick can both do it. Shit, Nate Johnson and DJU can do it. So it's, you know what I'm saying? So like this is a game where I think it's going to be scores, could be big plays, and then long drives eating the clock, and then a big play. That's why I feel it's over. I think they'll be putting points on the board in, I wouldn't say bunches, but when it happens, it'll be like Utah, Oregon State. Then we'll get physical play again, and it'll be boom, Utah again. Or it'll be punch for punch, and that's how it's gonna be. It's gonna be punch for punch in the trenches, and it's gonna be punch for punch when they score. This is gonna be. I think this. I'm gonna go out and say right now, this is probably gonna be the most watched game tonight.
Wow, I like it. This is just one of those weird games. I think it's just gonna come down to, you guys know how I feel about success rate. Gonna come down in distances, and then late in game, it's gonna come down to protecting the ball. Right. If Oregon State wins this game, DJU did not turn the ball over, and secondly, that completion percentage is up, and he was comfortable, and he was also dynamic in the run game as well. I think that's the way that Oregon State wins this game, but I think there'll be a timely turnover. I hate to say it. DJU is certainly friends of the family. I think Utah wins this game. I agree with you with the by 3 aspect, but I'm just going in the opposite direction. That's why I went with them on a money line. I think Utah wins this game. I think their defense makes a timely play at some point in this game.
Like you said, success rate of over 60 for the Beavers on the offensive side, but the Utes only allow 9 points.
Yeah.
Something's got to break, right? Somewhere can only have one.
Alrighty. Shout out to everybody who's been with us this entire time for this stream. We truly appreciate you. Make sure you guys like, comment, share, and subscribe. Also, make sure you go join the sister company, Fantasy Football Nation. That's FFB_Nation. Nino, that's his baby. He's controlling that thing. Got you covered on all things NFL and fantasy. So I always like to say, do something nice that somebody normally wouldn't do. Always pay it forward. Peace and love. Peace and blessings. And until next time, you already know what it is. One, my God, Nino.